motivate you, to share something with you on this morning. When I was a kid, my uncle was walking in New York from one place to another. We was trying to get to his mother's house, to my grandma's house, and as we were walking, the storm starts to come. What do you do when the storm comes? When you find yourself about to be in the midst of a storm, when you find yourself in the middle of it all, what do you do? And we're walking and it starts to pour down rain, the clouds are dark. I'm talking about there's water puddles everywhere. If you're familiar with New York, some of the roads are really messed up, so there was massive water puddles, and we're walking across the city trying to get to my grandma's house. And as we're moving across, trying to get to my grandma's house, my uncle takes my jacket off and throws it in the puddle. I'm talking about a massive puddle. He throws it in the puddle, and at that point in time, I was young, and I didn't really understand why he took my jacket off and threw it away, but I wanted my jacket back. I wanted my jacket back. It was brand new and it was fresh, and I knew that when I got home that my grandma was going to ask me where my jacket was at. But we kept going, even though I didn't have that protection on, even though I didn't have that cover on, even though I didn't have that thing that felt like it was covering me, that it was holding me, that it was getting me through the storm that was raging at that point in time. I'm talking about the rain was pouring down. And when I realized that there was alternative actions that could have been taken in that place and time, I could have tried to go back and run and find my jacket, or I could have continued to bound forward to my destination. And what happens is, when we're in the middle of a storm, we forget that there's alternatives. We could wait till the storm pass. We could find shelter and wait till the storm pass. Or some storms we can push through. And when we decide that we can push through, that we're going to face that problem and not let it become a distraction, not let our comfort take over, and continue to push through, even though we know that the storm is raging, like the issues seem like they're unbearable and they're piling up, we can continue to move forward through that. And what I learned in that moment was that even though I was getting soaking wet, even though the rain was coming down as heavy as could be, and we picked up our pace to get to our destination. Yes, you can pick up your pace at any given time to get to your destination, but we picked up our pace to get to our destination, and I'm getting soaked and wet. And the whole time that we're going towards our destination, all I could think about was my jacket. How ironic is it that even though it was raining, even though I was soaking wet, even though the puddles was unbearable, almost up to my knees, I just kept pushing forward during that adverse time in my life, during that issue that was plaguing in my life. I was focused on the covering. And I want you to know that today, that you can focus on the covering. You got to ask yourself, who is covering you during the storm in your life? See, God said he'll never leave us nor forsake us, and I know that he is covering us during this storm. But I need you to make sure that you look at the alternatives. Number one, if you keep going, you will eventually reach your goals. In this season, don't stop doing what it is that you're doing, that you're trying to achieve your greatest success. See, the problem that you're facing can be a distraction, but you can also let it be a solution. You can also let it be a time to where you're building up your muscle for the other side, because even though we was in the storm of the rain, when we got to the other side, we was able to change our garments. We was able to find warmth. We was able to find a place of protection. And remember, God is covering you, but you got to ask yourself, do you believe